All right, welcome. This was the trade setup of the day in our live trading room. What we were looking for, quite frankly, was for an increase in the volume, and we got that right over here finally. And it had been in this, let's call it a trading range, boxed range. We'll give it a little bit more analysis later, but what I wanted to focus in on is that as we got out of the lunch hour and traders came back, it was clearly the breakout of the volume. One of the things, the techniques that we looked at in the trading room was for discretionary traders, if you wanted to wait or improve your performance on your algo system, was to look or use the buy signals only. We were looking for buy signals only today, and we did get the ensuing buy signal as you notice here, it's a high close doji, long 2 contracts, our standard SOP operating procedures. Look at the corresponding time that the buy signal happened and what the volume's doing. Look at our histogram. Now, for those who have the Person's Lifetime package, we were at the seminar at C's and we focused on how to get the most out of the algo program with the person indicators on the lifetime package. Well, real simple. This is the volume indicator exclusive to the TradeStation program. This is the histogram component that helps us to detect the momentum as it relates to the indicators in your top quadrant, which are the PPS, namely the PPS. So currently the market, we are long 2 contracts, and as this particular model, this is the latest improvement that we came out, or upgrade, let's say, on version number 16. And just to validate that, let's go to Format Strategies, and you can see that we are trading the version 16. What is the difference with version 16? Well, we added a function with a scale out ratio, which can be set at 0, a half, or a third, or whatever your position is. I mean, if you're in 3 contracts, then you could go, it makes it tough to go out at a half, right? If you're in 4, it makes it tough to go, you can go out at a quarter. But if you're in 10 contracts or 1,000 shares, then you can kind of divvy that up by a decimalization function, like 0.3, 0.5. If you're 0.5, it means you're literally getting out a half your position. And then the last function is a scale out ratio difference of 1, which we can explain another time. But at this point, what does it really mean? When it's set at 0, it will not, you can see your entry is right here. Currently, the orange line is got just slightly above the entry. Orange is got a protective stop trailed into it. Blue was, keyword past tense, was the profit target on this trade. Red was the stop loss. So you know what your entry is, you know what your stop loss is, and you know what your expected profit target was. Well, that would be good if scale out ratio was set at a function of 1. And as you can tell, as I shared with you, was not set at 1. It was actually set at 0. 0 means disregard taking a profit at the profit target and use a dynamic trailing stop feature. So basically, we are not getting out of this trade, the long position in here, until we trail the stop or it gets out. In fact, or another function is your maximum bar is hit. So that's the key of what we still did not disable, the function of maximum bars overriding. If you're in the trade too long, obviously, it'll trail the stop or get out at a max bars function, and it gets out at the market. So this hard to see here, but the long trade on this little 5-minute, again, a long position, ignored the blue profit target line, ignored it, and then it just kept trailing the stop or doing something special. It got out at the max bar. The max bar got out, and the next open it triggered. So in that example, it did get out and provided more of a profit than the profit target. So in a day trading function, instead of scaling out, this will just trail the stop and allow you to continue to profit on breakout moves. So that's what we kind of have right now, and as the trade matures, we'll tell you what or share with you what happens. So we'll come back to that in just a second. As this trade continues to work itself out, you can clearly see the green bar here shows the closed traded profit from the last. This is only going back a week, mind you. And there's your open trade equity on the current position. That's the difference between the fuchsia line and the green line. So I'm going to do something different right here while we wait on this. I'm going to just simply copy this window, and I'm going to paste this window, and it's just going to copy the exact same functions. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to, here we go, I'm going to format the strategies. Right, here we go. I'm going to format this, and I'm going to change the scale out ratio from 0, which just ignores profit targets, and I'm going to change that to 1. And now you'll see what happens here with the difference in the program. As you can see, it did exactly what it should have done. It got into the trade here, and it took the intended profit. So there is the difference between functionality of scale out, the difference between the 0 and the 1 setting. So 0 versus 1. This is a dynamic change that allows us that if you're into if you're more preference of day trading and not taking out of position, a lot of times you get an extended move, and again you optimize and go into a rigorous backtest study to find out what is the proper or average move in a specific time frame. In other words, what's the average move crude oil makes in a 5-minute signal? Is it 30 cents, 50 cents? What's the average holding period? Is it 20 bars, 50 bars, 10 bars? And therefore you can work around developing your own strategy and implement the auto execution function. Meaning, do you want to take this trade without confirmation, and it'll just trade automatically, or you can always use the confirmation to say, do you want to enter this trade, and then quickly say, well, let's see, I want to take longs and the volume's going up. Sure, enter trade order, and it may initiate some slippage, but what I'm describing is that you have the power of choosing the trades based on maybe some input, discretionary input on indicators and added value sense. So it's something that I think is very important for traders that do have experience, that they can allow which trade they take. Now, what I wanted to point out, one last function of difference, which makes this just an incredible, amazing function and product, is that we are going to scale out this ratio. And if I put 0.5, which again, we have a methodology with defining our position calculation as 3. We've got position size 3 is set at 2 contracts. So in 2 contracts allows us to do what? Scale out a half the position. So if you'll notice here, if that is enabled to scale out, look what it did. It got out a half the position at the intended profit, and it still got out of the other half at the max profit exit like it did on a 0 setting. So here is where it went long 2 contracts. It takes out half the position at the profit, and as you can see, long 2, high close doji, went long 2 at the market. It exited 1 at a profit. So what does that mean? It's still long 1. And if this thing went up forever, it's scaled out of a profit on 1, and guess what? It's going to ride the other until what happens? The trailing stop function kicks in, max bar function kicks in, or the trailing stop function kicks in. But it won't get it. It's going to now work in our favor, and at any point in time, individuals can get out of this trade by simply overriding and turning off the Algo Optimizer. I hope you found this at least clear on what we've added to the new Algo 16. And again, this is anyone that has the Algo Optimizer. Generally, we've given the original version out, which did not have as many filtering and as many proprietary order entry and scale out features that we've upgraded this thing to. And it's just amazing, and just gives individual traders so much more ability to capture market trends than ever before. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. And for those in the live trading room, this was and is the trade du jour that we were looking for, and it's exciting to see it come to fruition. Thank you.